Hello and welcome.
Doing a little bit of World of Warcraft tonight. Do some more leveling through the Shadowlands on my Alliance character. Been offline for a little while. We had some hardware issues that I had to sort out, and thanks to Newegg with some great shipping speeds, we've got that all figured out. System is now back up and running at maximum speed and efficiency, so we're able to jump back in and get a little bit of fun. Had to reinstall everything, so hopefully I've got the settings right in OBS here for the game capture. Had to do it all from memory. I had it set up to where it was working pretty good before, after we got all the bugs figured out, so we'll see what it does tonight and get a little bit of work done. We're going to hop on Turinia on the Alliance side. The guild Get Off My Lawn. It's actually run by a friend of mine. He's one of the veterans in my Alliance Veterans Guild. Really fun guy. He's an old Marine. Has some great war stories. We have a good time together gaming, so this is his kind of screw-around guild. In fact, I believe, Old Guy is his guild name. So, yep, he's a fun dude. Ornery is all get out. Only a few of us on this particular guild, but it's just for close friends to screw around with. So, all right, looks like we are on the first act of war. We need to report to the Baron, who is that away. Oh, first, I'm going to summon my kitty. I've never brought this up before, but that's Willow. And she is based off of a little orange and white tabby that I have. She's my little buddy. And she follows me just like what Willow is following right now. She's basically a dog.
The battle awaits us, soldiers. Ready your defenses.
My defenses are always ready.
Yes, sir. Speak, soldier. Back to your post. Those spineless traitors are fools to challenge the might of the Chosen. Out with it. Bring glory to the Chosen. You have your... Get moving, recruit. We are at war.
Masked infiltrators. And specific ones. Okay. Masked infiltrator. Oh, yes. I remember this now. The dog sniffs them out.
What are my orders?
You will not compromise my position!
That one's dead.
I thirst for combat. You will not compromise my position! reporting for duty. Maldraxxus will be ours.
Ready to strike. Point me at my foe. Maldraxxus will be ours.
The first time I did this quest, it took forever. I ran over half the territory in this marked off area, and the dog just wouldn't go after anyone. And here we're already 4 out of 6, 2/3 of the way through. Thinking maybe that was I was a little earlier on in the expansion, and there were a lot of people leveling up at that point, and so pretty good chance there's just a lot of dead people at that point.
Point me at my foe. Ready to strike. Maldraxxus will be ours.
All right, dog. What else you smelling?
None can best me. What are my orders?
You will not compromise my position!
Alright, my quest is done. Let's go ahead and re-up poisons here before we forget, because I always forget. You'd think after playing a rogue for 16 years in this game that that would just become, I don't know, second nature.
You would make quite the suit. More orders? What now? Summon Mortanis in this drought? Preposterous! You there! Tell the Baron to scrounge up some anima if he wants his bone guard.
As you command.
Anima powers everything in the afterlife here. Nothing runs without it. But because of all of the anima getting siphoned away from most of the worlds here, no one has it. However, in a little while, well, we've got to go through this world, and then another world, and then the 4th world that we go through, we figure out why the anima drought is going on. It's one of those that anybody who follows lore and is good at reading Blizzard's storylines, they figure it out pretty easily. I had it pegged before I even got to that area out there, kind of what was going on.
Strike harder! Show no mercy!
But it does lay a very
I'm
nice
first for combat!
story.
Listen up! You lose, you hold metal to the forge! Now fight! Actually, you know what? We're gonna get on a new mount. This guy. This is the Wandering Ancient. This is basically a gift for purchasing Shadowlands. It was released not too long ago, and it's a very special mount. It doesn't fly or anything like that, but
aside from being a very pretty mount, treant, with, you know, great motion in the beard and the leaves and things like that, this actually changes with the season. Just a few days ago, you know, towards the middle of March, we were still technically in the season of winter here in the USA. And so this was actually covered in frost and had any leaves that were still stuck to his branches were white and icy and dead. And now that it's spring, he's got fresh green leaves with, you know, pretty little flowers. In the summertime, it turns into very mature leaves. In the fall, the leaves turn into various shades of red and orange and yellow. So this mount actually changes its visual with the season for whatever region your server is. So if you were in a server that was based south of the equator, right now, your mount would actually have the fall foliage on it, the leaves changing colors and things like that. So our friends in South America, Africa, Australia, you know, southern parts of Asia, places like that, this would be a fall mount right now. And in the northern hemisphere here, you know, in Europe, northern Asia, and the United States, you would have a spring mount right now. So, really nice looking little guy. And a pretty neat touch from the folks at Blizzard there to program that in. It's you know, if they're not going to give you like a flying mount or something, they want to give you something that's got a little pizzazz to it, you know, I guess. Come here, Secular.
Maldraxxus honors you. New orders! We march to the west! Move out!
Alright. Let's report back to the Baron. We are done. I do believe I'm going to go ahead and abandon these quests just to keep things clear. Those are quests that are easy to go and pick up in the future, so once we hit level 60, we'll go back and revisit a lot of those little quests that were a little screwy with us at level. That sometimes happens. Certain fights are pretty easy with this type of character, you know, at this level, and, you know, gear, item level. But other fights, you know, just not really meant for it. That's what's so great about WoW is it's a varied mix. Not every character can do everything.
Make it quick. Back to your post. You have your orders.
Well done, recruit. These were merely the first of many assignments in your future. Matters here demand my attention. Report to Baroness Draka and see what she has of you. I will watch closely as this war unfolds.
Bring glory. Good work, soldier. Inform Draka that we stand ready to fight.
If you haven't been following along in any of the other videos, Draka, you actually may know if you've watched the World of Warcraft film, or if you know any of the history of Warchief Thrall of the Horde. Draka is Thrall's mother. And you can see in the film Warcraft, came out just a few years ago, 2018, 2017, something like that. Draka is actually pregnant as with Duratan's child, the war chief of the Frostwolf clan. And as they are coming through the great portal from Hellfire into what is known as the Blasted Lands in Azeroth, the going through the teleportation basically puts her into labor, and she ends up having the baby right there on the ground just past the dark portal in the Blasted Lands. And the baby comes out pretty much stillborn. In the human world, or in our real world, we would call that a blue baby. Wasn't breathing, skin's very pallid and blue, and he is actually saved by one of the very evils that he tries to fight. He is actually saved by the Fel. And forgive me, I've been imbibing some adult beverages this evening to deal with some physical pain I have due to some surgeries a while back. And so the name is slipping me exactly of the name of the character, which is terrible because he's one of the main characters of the Legion. He's the warlock that you fight. But he is able to breathe some of the Fel power into Thrall as a baby, and it basically brings him back to life, which is why he is bright green. And there are comments within the game that are made when Thrall meets with some of the orcs from the Outlands and whatnot, that they actually comment that he is a very strange colored orc. And doesn't look much like his parents because of that. Warlords of Draenor, if you play Horde side, you actually work very closely with Draka and Duratan within your garrison that you build after escaping what would eventually become the Hellfire Peninsula. So, as kind of a timeline thing, Warlords of Draenor happens in the grand scheme of things prior to the Burning Crusade expansion. It's like going back in time to when the Outlands weren't just a floating mass of ground in the Nether. They were still a planet, and the whole point of that particular expansion was fighting against the Fel God, the Fel Lord, basically taking all of Draenor, which destroys the planet, and what is left of the planet is the zones in Outland. You know, your Hellfire and your Nagrand and Blade's Edge Mountains. Blade's Edge is actually what used to be the Frostwolf area, which was a beautiful icy tundra with beautiful mountains, some volcanic activity, but it was, very beautiful, and that it turns into the Blade's Edge Mountains. I don't know why the physical change happened to the way it did and the extent that it did. I unfortunately don't know that part of the lore, which honestly does bother me because I am a lore hound when it comes to Warcraft. If you watch any of my other videos, I do kind of sometimes go on, semi-rants about the history of Warcraft and how they weave the storyline, just because, to me, the story matters more than anything, more than fighting style, more than any of it. How does this particular thing fit the story? How does this raid fit the story? How does this dungeon fit the story? How does this simple quest that I'm turning in fit the story? And Blizzard does a really good job of weaving those quests and how to make it fit the story.
Good work. I see that our defenses have been shored up.
Strength and honor.
Margrave Crexus was pleased to hear of your service to our house. He senses great potential within you. Potential that must be tested. A stone stands at the center of our citadel, surrounded by magma. Reaching the stone is a challenge of endurance and fortitude. This trial is usually attempted only by our most renowned soldiers, but Margrave Crexus commands you to attempt the rite at once. Your objective, should you choose to accept it, reach the standing stone.
For Primus left the stone as a challenge. Reach it and prove your might.
It's actually not too bad to get to. the stone they are talking about, is this little stone out here. And the easiest way is to actually come from the side over here. So if you look up on your map, kind of come around this path up to the side over here, and then using a mount, you can run along the edge of this stone outcropping and then jump, and you take almost no damage at all, and so works out pretty well. Come along, Willow. We're gonna jump in lava. Interestingly enough, my own cat Willow would probably be dumb enough to try to follow me into lava, just because she is my bestest buddy. She would follow me into probably just about anything, I think. See? Made it up there, not much damage. The Primus.
The realms of death awash in darkness. Treachery begets chaos. Bonds frayed must be restored. The key shall honor the worthy.
The Primus is a good guy, and he was part of a group that tried to block the insurrection that happened out here in Maldraxxus, which was highlighted in Draka's introductory video, and so he sort of understood that the houses of Maldraxxus would eventually fall into war with each other instead of trying to protect the undead world itself, which is what their entire purpose is. They are warriors. They are meant to protect the world of the afterlife, and instead they are warring with each other. And Primus saw this coming and was able to leave artifacts and instruction to sort of try to ward this off, or if it actually succeeded, which it did, to find a way to fix it. And so here in Maldraxxus, the Primus was kind of the head honcho of the whole thing. And so anyone out here pretty much would listen to Primus unless they were on the bad guy's side. And so if they listened to the Primus and heeded the Primus, generally they could be listed as allies. And you eventually do follow in the footsteps of the Primus and heed his wishes, and you unlock some stuff, especially if you're picking Maldraxxus as your coven to go with, the covenant that you actually stay with and expand.
What did you do? How goes the fight?
What happened? This blade was inside the stone all this time? Maldraxxus was right about your potential.
Every blade was forged by the Primus. How long has it been hidden in that stone?
probably get an upgraded belt. We're finally getting rid of the waist guard of the insatiable maw. I did have some pretty decent gear on this character at Battle for Azeroth. She could run into just about any raid and hold her own pretty well. She had about a 460-ish item level before the crunch happened, so she was pretty comfortably geared. So we'll go ahead and swap that piece out. Let's see. Yep, for assassination, that trinket doesn't do us any good. These shoulder pads don't do us any good. So we'll leave that.
For the honor of the Blade Sworn.
Of all the souls who have reached that stone, only you have discovered its true purpose. I am no zealot, but clearly there is a deeper meaning in this. We would be wise to investigate it further. Find bonesmith Herimir at her forge. She's the most renowned smith in Maldraxxus, and the last remaining apprentice of Primus himself. She will know what course to take.
In the name Herimir was once the Primus' apprentice. She might know more about the blade.
I'm going to window out for just a second. So feel free to feast on the eye candy here. Let me double check, make sure I've got... music is turned on, but we're not getting any in this location. But it'll only be just a second. I'll be right back in. Just a message from my wife popping in on Discord. Yes, look, I'm a World of Warcraft freak who's been playing it for years. I play Dungeons and Dragons, and oh yeah, I'm married and have kids. So, fellow nerds of the world, your dreams too can come true. Alright, let's hop on our little tree out here. A little spice of green in this world.
What did you break this time? Ah! Can't you see I'm busy? Is that... It can't be. So this was the cause of all that commotion. A blade and a message from the Primus himself. Whatever his reason, a blade's no good without a hilt. Time to get to work. New requisitions?
This is going to take a bit of work.
Wield your weapon. I'll keep my hammer.
A potent blade requires potent components. I know of something that will suit our needs. Recently, a monstrosity trained by the constructs was snared by our soldiers at the eastern side of our stronghold. Virez insists we can siphon intelligence from the beast's mind. The will of the Primus trumps the desires of an ambitious baron. The bones of that beast would forge the perfect hilt for this blade. I say you lay claim to them.
Sounds good to me.
The Primus forged a fine blade, but it will do you no good in its current state. Fortunately for you, I possess the skill to finish his work. That being said, I will require materials. The other Chosen have been too preoccupied with their combat drills to assist me at the forge, even as they demand more weapons and armor. That's where you come in. You want a new blade? You'll have to earn it.
And it looks like we're also going to earn an upgraded pants.
Armor. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. That includes the materials for your hilt.
Well, alright.
Let us go burn the materials for our hilt. Coming soon to a theater near you. One Worgen, a rogue, doing the quests needed to gain her hilt. Starring a wolf in a tree, a tiny kitty cat that I can't zoom in on, and really poor air quality. This summer at theaters, Thick Skin. Okay, so I enjoy voices occasionally. I'm no Matt Mercer. Forgive me. Ooh, got some scraps there.
Give me something to fight!
No.
Give me something to fight.
A little tip for when you're fighting rogues, especially assassination, where you have a lot of different dots at your exposure. You have lots of bleeds, you have poisons, and if you're taking the way of Maldraxxus, you have this nasty one, Serrated Bone Spike. You can throw 3 charges onto whatever creature you're fighting, and these tick hard. Whenever fighting a big mob, some sort of a boss or elite, something like that, throw these first. They grant enough combo points to fill up your combo point bar. Then you can immediately drop something like Rupture, which starts ticking. Then pop Garrote, which immediately starts ticking. Then pop Shiv, which immediately starts ticking. By the time you've popped all of that stuff, you're basically almost back up to enough combo points to blow in Venom. If you know it's going to be a long fight, don't blow in Venom yet. Blow Slice and Dice, which speeds up all of your base attacks. Then build your combo points back up. Refresh Rupture if you need to. You'll probably need to refresh Garrote by that time. You can start refreshing Serrated Bone if there's more than one creature. But what's cool is this will stay ticking on the mob until it's dead. So, pretty handy in a long fight. It's a very, very long dot. It doesn't expire. So then you can start blowing points on Shiv. Not Shiv, but in Venom. Shiv is a fast-acting dot. Rupture is a slow-acting dot. Garrote is a middle-speed acting dot. With my build spec, Kidney Shot is a quick dot, but it also enacts a stun. So depending on what mob you're fighting, if it's hitting really hard, or if it keeps trying to heal, or if it's doing abilities that can't be canceled by like a kick, a spell casting ability, if it's a gray casting ability versus a yellow one, use something like Kidney Shot. This will interrupt that kind of spell. Now granted, as soon as Kidney Shot is done, they can immediately start casting it again, which is different than if you cancel a spell using Kick. They cannot cast anything from that particular class of spells for several seconds. But if it's a big nasty one and you're just trying to give your party time, throw in a Kidney Shot. But again, start off with these Serrated Bones. These will build up and they tick really, really hard when you get all 3 of them on there. And as long as you can keep your Rupture and your Garrote up with it, and then keep throwing up your slice and dice, you will maintain an extremely high DPS over a long period of time. This is a really good way for assassination rogues to do well in large groups, you know, really tearing things down. And if you watch, those dots on that first one, those will keep ticking. And so if you have some good dots on a creature, and he's getting below 50% health, if he's not like a high-end mob, you know, like these guys are kind of trash mobs, you do have the ability to leave those dots on him and then start on the second mob, and those dots will continue to tick down and kill the first mob while you're damaging the second mob. You lose less health, kill more creatures more quickly, so it's a much more efficient way to be able to do that. Yes. We need to kill the big guy here. Watch my combo. Combos you can keep up going at the same time, the higher your DPS is going to be. So it's not a matter of just blowing everything you have, it's a matter of properly timing what you have to keep them all going at the same time. Alright, we just about have all the hide scraps that we need. Pretty good chance that this one will be the last one we have to go after. Need 5 more. They've been granting us between 4 and 6 per mob. 4. So we need 1 more. Yeah, that's typical. And we'll end up killing a guy that'll have like 6 of them on him. Because hashtag Blizzard. Let's hop on our tree and go looking for the yellow dot. Oop, there's a yellow dot on the map. There we are. All finished up.
Start talking or start walking. The Primus chose me for a reason. If I made it, you can trust it. I don't do repairs. Well, are you ready to start or not?
I'm ready to start forging a rune weapon.
The Primus may have taught me a lot about the Forge, but I've learned a thing or two myself since then. Ah! He enchanted the blade. Of course he did. You might want to get ready for a fight.
I like to use Fan of Knives in instances like this to gather up mobs if you're not sure they're going to come at you. If you're in a group setting, this is a great way to pull mobs off of you.
Keep those things off me while I work. This is a test of your skill as well as mine.
Using tricks of the trade over here. This is a great way. If you activate tricks of the trade on, say, your paladin or warrior or death knight, or whoever you have tanking in your group, then use your fan of knives. All of the aggro from your fan of knives gets directed towards your tank, so you can help pull the aggro off of healers
Just how
and
many
spellcasters.
souls did he forge into this thing? Final Guardian. Vanquish it and claim your rune blade.
The ambition to rise above all others.
Ah! Well, I forged it, but clearly you are the only one meant to wield it. Go on, then. Looks like taking up the blade empowered one of its runes. Knowing the Primus, that's just the start of something more. Speak up!
The Primus was always fond of his trials. It seems you've passed this one. Well done.
If I made it, you could trust it.
This ability is really nice. If you stand next to a creature that you have just killed, you can absorb its power essence, which will give you a damage shield for up to 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. And it's pretty handy in some nasty fights. Kill a shit creature and then go fight an elite or something like that. And you've got that nice damage shield. So it's like having a, you know, a third extra hit points on top of what you've already got. So really
Need something
nice.
forged? Well, I forged you a weapon without equal. You break that blade, and I'll break you.
Spoiler alert, she doesn't break you. Dun, 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 dun. Spent a couple of nights ago listening
I
to
take it Airmere had much
a
to
little bit of
say.
John Williams on YouTube. It was pretty
Blood
fun.
and thunder.
You wield a fine weapon. Now you must put it to use.
Only the strong survive. Strength comes. Come. Margrave Crexus awaits us.
First you bring war, now a blade of the Primus. Your legend grows, mortal. At ease, soldier. The Primus embodied the 5 traits of the ideal Maldraxxus soldier. The ambition to rise above one's foes and the might to crush them. The insight to discern their plans and the guile to outwit them. The relentless pursuit of victory, even in the face of inevitable defeat. 5 traits, 5 runes upon the blade. The same runes etched onto the seat of the Primus. Begin your report.
Looks like this quest is going to give us a little upgrade.
This cannot be a coincidence. It is clear that your rune blade is somehow connected to the seat of the Primus. I will not pretend to know the Primus's agenda, but I would not be surprised if he left behind a way for the worthy to open the door to his sanctum. Draco will bring you to the seat of the Primus. If you hold the key, mortal, then our victory is all but assured.
Virus, Draco, bring the mortal to the seat of the Primus. Let us see what unfolds.
I will scout ahead. Do not tarry, soldier.
Always ready for battle. Even here, I protect the weak. The seat of the Primus has been locked shut since he went missing. Many have tried to open it. The Primus was a legendary weaponsmith. If we hold the key to his vault, then his arsenal will be ours. It won't be long before the other houses learn of the blade. Be ready for a fight. Maldraxxus was right. We hold the key to the seat of the Primus.
It will do us no good if our house falls in battle first. We must not lose focus on the war.
From Ka.
Report to
Only
the
the
spearhead,
strong
recruit.
survive.
We have a battle to win.
Yeah, this one for some reason has avoidance added onto it, even though both of these daggers are Winter Sail Dirk. The Bonefused Shank there obviously is an upgrade over both of these by a decent amount. But for some reason this one Winter Sail Dirk does have a boost to it, and I'm not sure why, considering they're both exactly the same item level. So we're going to go with the one that has that extra plus 10 avoidance. Sort of a dodge type thing. Never a bad thing to be able to dodge one's attacks.
How goes the fight?
Our forces at the spearhead are under siege from Margrave Garmal's vanguard. If Iraz himself is leading the defense, then the situation must be dire. The House of Construct shapes flesh into forged bodies for its forces. They were once an indispensable ally, but have become a fearsome enemy. Maldraxxus trusts your might. No doubt you will have need of it. The House of Plagues was the first to fall in this conflict. We believed its demise was a result of the careless accident. If only we had known the truth sooner. But perhaps not all of their knowledge was lost. Before you arrived, our scouts reported signs of movement near the wreckage of their necropolis. Any of the survivors remain, we'd be wise to add them to our ranks. But, a word of caution, the toxic fallout may have left them mad. Or worse. Each house in Maldraxxus has 2 barons. Before the fall of my first house, the House of Eyes, our Margrave sent my fellow baroness to investigate suspicious behavior in the House of Rituals. I've not heard from her since. Either she has found something, or has become another casualty of their treachery. Her orders took her to the Decay in the east. If you can find the Baroness, give her this summons. We were not friends, she and I, but she is a formidable combatant. We could use her might.
For breakfast! Vyraz is brash, but he's right. We need reinforcements.
Well, let's go find some. I'm so excited. Let's head to the Baron of the Chosen first, since that leads us in a direction unto itself.
I'm giant tree.
Nope, we're gonna stealth. Why are rogues best? Because rogues are best. And especially because this area was a pain in the butt before. These guys cast a really nasty spell that if left unchecked will kick your butt in a hurry. You'll end up having to sit and eat or use, burn spells to get yourself back up. Not friendly. Fortunately, rogues have a nice interrupt, and so they are able to fight these things without them getting a cast off it, unless you end up fighting 2 at 1, in which case you're lucky to be able to block both of the spells. They are not friendly. This little area always reminds me of the Outlands. Giant mushrooms. Zangar Marsh in the Outlands had these beautiful giant mushrooms, which was actually in Draenor the Zangar Sea.
Push forward!
South
Break
of
their line with a
Frostfire
frontal assault!
and north of Nagrand, the Zangar Sea
But, sir,
was
that will
dried up.
result in a massive number of casualties.
Such is the price of victory.
When it comes to warfare, strength of will is as critical as strength of arms. A demoralized soldier is a defeated soldier. We have the numbers to overwhelm the constructs with a full-scale assault, but if only our forces were fully committed to the charge. Some may fall, but the sacrifice will secure our victory. Take this battle horn and rally all troops. Remind them of their duty to the Chosen. Maldraxxus expects much of you, mortal. Show these soldiers how a true champion of the arena vanquishes their foes and claims victory. Meet these traitorous constructs ahead on. Leave none standing.
Back to your post!
Stand strong.
The commander of the constructs, General Alvear, is a master tactician. A frontal assault has no chance of victory against him. It would be a bloodbath. His forces have flanked us and secured the high ground. From that position, he can rain destruction upon us, unopposed. We will take the ridge from him before that can happen.
Our might is without equal.
Mavics! Wreak havoc on those cowards!
We'll blast them to pieces.
And flight path. Alright, and that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Ready to sit down and watch a little bit of Critical Role before going to bed. So, we'll see you folks next time as we continue to level through the Shadowlands.